And so we take up again our trip through this fascinating book, and I return you and think about the beginning of it all, when in the very first weeks I pointed out to you that the word revelation, I explained that it was in its essence a Greek word, and it means that something is to be uncovered and something is to be revealed. And subsequently we've gone through so many details and so on since then, and in chapter 17 the full development is revealed, and in chapter 18 its final destruction and replacement. This chapter is about a woman, the original ecclesia, who has become a whore, deriving political power from the empire, the beast, and that is what is being revealed, that something is being shown there which really looks in some respects like Jesus, and yet it's not, because it's deriving power from a totally different area. Verse 1 of chapter 17, and there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So what is going to happen is that there is going to be judgment poured out on that phantom ecclesia, which is saying all the wrong things. And the sign of the waters of verse 1 is interpreted in verse 15 as meaning power over many people. It sitteth upon many waters, the verse says, or the waters are the people. And John is reminded of the great whore or harlot who appeared in chapter 12, verse 1. This false system of Christianity, which developed, is viewed by God as an adulteress. She's lost the truth and has become in worldly politics and armies rather than trusting in God. John is here now shown another view in the 3rd verse. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-coloured beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Political power. The idea of a woman riding a beast is familiar to John. In Greek mythology, the goddess Europa had been captured and carried away on the back of a bull, which was really the god Zeus. However, the scarlet beast is ridden by the whore, who offers the cup of her mixed wine. What does it mean by mixed wine? It means some of the truth of God and mixed up with error. And she is decked or gilded with jewels, but her outward appearance of splendour hides her true state, because in the 5th verse it says, And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And you remember we mentioned, because the Revelation talks about on the forehead, the thinking part. So all their thinking was not about God and about the scriptures, but was about political power. And mixed wine deadens. It says that she is offering the cup of her mixed wine. That just deadens, and people don't open their minds to what is going on. By contrast with the true bride, who has the name of the Father written in her forehead, the name that she has is Babylon the Great, verse 5, the mother of harlots. This is an apostate system of Christianity, which has adopted every kind of pagan idolatry, but still calls itself Christianity, as I mentioned previously. And in the 6th verse of the 17th chapter, And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration, with great wonder. You know, in Rome today, a mural on one of the buildings just off Vatican Square carries the caption, Mater Ecclesia. This is translated, Mother Church. Rome is the mother of the different false religions, harlot daughters of Christendom. And of course she's called here Babylon as the symbol name in this written book. And in the 7th verse, the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The interpretation is that the woman is the harlot church, and the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns which carries her is the Roman Empire, identified from the book of Daniel. Here is described the 4th beast in Daniel, which was Rome bearing the 10 horns and closely linked to the policies of the church, being ridden by it, a combination between political power and ecclesiastical power, which is already interwoven with man's thoughts. Historically, the papacy ruled in Rome with influence growing until the two-horned lamb beast of the earth emerged as the Holy Roman Empire, and it lasted for 1,000 years until 1806, when it was ended by Napoleon. All of these things are clearly set out in history, and you don't have to read into the book. Very often, if you have a historical book and just look at the flyleaf and what is written there, you can find all of these things without going to great details. It's all on the surface of history. The papacy survived, however, and has gained in strength and political involvement during the 21st century. The future seen by John, the angel explains to him that the origins of the scarlet beast he had just seen was the beast of the sea of the earlier vision of chapter 13. The scarlet beast is to arise from the people of Europe, the bottomless pit, and its end would be destruction. It is the last phase of the Roman Empire. All peoples would be astonished. You see, we're getting towards the end of this thing. It hasn't happened yet. It didn't happen in those days. We're expecting a lot of these things to continue to happen and to be fulfilled. All peoples would be astonished, except true believers, when they hold this beast that yet is. Roman coins were minted which showed the goddess Roma sitting upon the 7 hills of the city of Rome. The city, often called Babylon here in the text, is identified as Rome. Verse 9, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. The identification of Babylon in Rome is beyond chance. And the 11th verse of the 17th chapter, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And he saith unto me, John says, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. On to Revelation chapter 18. The great city which is called Babylon, which we know as Rome, is to fall. And the 2nd verse of the 18th chapter, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon is fallen, the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. The angel proclaims the reasons for its fall in the 3rd verse of the 18th chapter. And that's worth for us all to bear in mind. Here's the reasons. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. There is first a warning to God's people not to be involved with the calamity. Verse 4, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partaker of her sins. Because what she had done was to turn political the wonderful ideas of the scriptures of truth and turn it into that which man traded in day by day. Then to the kings of the earth who will be greatly damaged. And finally to verse 11, the merchants of the earth, for no man will buy their merchandise anymore. Such will be the fall of when Babylon falls. The chapter describes nothing less than a catastrophe affecting the whole world, which is to come upon this great city, Rome, when it falls, as John is predicting. And in the 21st verse of the 18th chapter, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. The chapter concludes by summarizing the activities which, with the passing of the great empire, will no longer be present in the earth, from the makers of music of many kinds to the work of the craftsmen, the singing of the bride, the work of the merchants. There will remain a great silence when that great edifice will be removed. And in her, verse 4, was found the blood of prophets and of saints, and of all that was slain upon the earth.